Hi folks, the Filipina here. And lots of you guys have probably disregarded my advice and given money to a Filipina that you don't know very well, or not at all. And sometimes, it's a lot of money. Maybe to pay for an operation, or maybe to buy some land. Now if you're lucky, everything's legit. But all too often, you find out that your money was used for something else, or just went straight into her pocket. And you find out she's dating someone else. So, is there anything you can do about it? Can you get your money back? And if not, can you put the scammer behind bars? To answer those questions and more, I've enlisted the help of attorney Amiel Aranes to shed some light on the situation. We'll also be discussing what to do if you find out your girlfriend is already married, whether certain documents can be forged, and we'll even tell you what to do if you're blackmailed after being tricked into a relationship with an underage girl. So buckle up and get ready to learn the legal ways to protect yourself. Attorney Amiel, thank you so much for coming in the show. Welcome.
Hello, Miss P. It's an honor to be here in your show.
My pleasure. So anyway, Attorney Amiel, tell us about yourself. Introduce yourself to my viewers.
So, I'm Amiel Arieta Aranyas, and I just newly passed the bar this May 2022.
Fresh.
Yes. I've been working here at Diocos Law Office for, I think, about 4 or 5 months.
Okay, so it is here in Dumaguete City, the Diocos Law Firm. Attorney Amiel, we'll be talking about how to sue a scammer. And also, a lot of my viewers were asking, can you get their money back? So, obviously, before we tackle the in-depth, let's define scam.
We first talk about 2 common elements.
Okay.
Or it's required that these 2 are present.
All right.
For it to be considered as a scam.
Mm-hmm.
One is that there must be deceit.
Okay, deceit.
Deceit. Second is that there must be damage.
Damage? What? A broken heart?
Well, I'm not sure if a broken heart is considered.
Okay.
But as far as my law school years taught me, the damage must be financial.
Financial,
Yeah.
okay. So, okay, empty pockets.
Empty pockets, not
Alright.
empty heart. In situations that there's a scammer, and if you want to get your money back, you may file a criminal case or you may file a civil case. If you really want leverage, or if you really want the person pay back, if you want to punish the person really for what he did, then you file a criminal case.
Okay, so
there's
criminal case.
imprisonment involved.
Oh, okay.
So in the context of criminal cases, most usually in a relationship between a Filipino and a foreigner, the basic scam or deceit that happens there is false pretense. Mm-hmm. So our conversation here will be in the context of false pretense, or in that context of a Filipino and a foreigner spouse.
Okay.
Or relationship, not mainly spouse.
Mm-hmm.
So
girlfriends and fiancés.
Boyfriends, fiancés, chatmates.
Okay, even though they haven't seen each other in person. Yeah, okay, so they can be criminally liable.
Yes.
Okay. Do you have to be in the Philippines to file a case? Obviously, most of my subscribers are chatting online, and their Filipino girlfriends are here in the Philippines.
The rule of thumb is, wherever the crime happened, you file it there.
Okay, but it happened online.
Right. The Filipina is here in Dumaguete, and the foreigner is in United States somewhere. So what happens is you can't file it in the U.S. because if you want the Filipina to be criminally responsible, you have to go here in the Philippines.
Okay.
So you file it where the crime happened or where the damage took place.
So here in Dumaguete.
Here in Dumaguete.
Okay. If the Filipina is from Dumaguete.
Assuming that she's from Dumaguete.
Assuming that she's from Dumaguete. Okay. So they have to be here.
Yes.
Okay.
Because when you file a complaint affidavit within the prosecutor's office, there needs to be a personal appearance because the prosecutor will ask certain questions if the complaint affidavit is true, and also will look at the witnesses and ask them questions. So there needs to be personal appearance.
What kind of evidence?
Well, the most common evidence would be the screenshot of the conversations.
Okay. Screenshots
of the conversations. If you transferred through the bank statements.
All right, so if the Filipino is asking money for the third appendectomy of the grandmother that died 3 times, 3 years ago, so it can be
Yeah,
used.
it can be.
Okay.
And you yourself can be an evidence because you will be a witness. And that's, under our rules, that's an evidence to be considered.
All right, so keep your receipts, guys.
Yes.
Keep your receipts. And what about explicit photos and screenshots and conversations? Do they have to send it all to the?
Well, your attachments or the evidence that you want to use, it's actually within your discretion.
Okay.
So if you want to make use of that explicit photo,
okay,
you may. But if not, because you're not comfortable, so long as you prove that the crime has happened and that the person guilty, charged of such crime, committed it, then that would suffice. You don't actually need to give all the screenshots.
So, attorney, what if for the Filipinos' defense, she'd say that, but he's the one sending it to me out of the goodness of his heart. I didn't ask for it. He's the one just sending it to me. He's just being generous because we're in a relationship. So, is it a possible defense?
So, for example, it's a he says versus she says game.
Okay.
So, in this case, the foreigner, right?
Yeah.
If the foreigner presents evidence that there was deceit, and the Filipino rebuts it, saying that it was out of the goodness of his or her of the foreigner's heart, then in the level of the preliminary investigation for the crime, they can talk it out there.
Okay.
And it will be the prosecutor's discretion whether there's probable cause.
All right. So the bottom line, attorney, if this foreigner, really believes that there's, deceit that
Yes.
happened, obviously, the first thing that he has to do is to see an attorney, to
See a lawyer.
see a lawyer to draft the affidavit of complaint.
Yeah, so first, you go to the lawyer because it is our sworn duty to really uphold the law.
Okay.
And if a client goes to us and we see that there's no criminal offense involved or that there's no grounds for filing a case, then it's our duty to tell the client that we can't file a case.
Okay.
That's the first thing you should do. Consult a lawyer to see if there's grounds for filing a case.
Do not go to Rafi Tulfo. That's not the proper venue. I mean, I know that he's helping other foreigners, but at the end of the day, they'll still gonna see a lawyer.
Yes.
They'll still be, I don't know, they'll be referred to PAO, to public.
Yes, because actually
It's not the proper venue.
Rafi Tulfo, it's a form of extrajudicial settlement.
Yeah, and I think, attorney, it's like trial by publicity. It's not really the proper forum. I mean,
Yeah,
that's just me.
If your contention is really to punish the person by imprisonment, then you file a case with the prosecutor's office first.
Right, because
Yeah.
even though they go to Rafi Tulfo's not the judge. He's not
Yeah.
even a lawyer. I mean,
What he can do is very limited.
it's basically more on shame. Because they like, Filipinos, they like drama and foreigner Filipina scam stories. It's like sensational. So,
Yeah. But
I mean,
in all fairness, aside from the drama aspect, that show actually helped also people
yeah, it does.
settle. But sometimes, in my opinion, this is just my opinion,
Yeah.
there are times when you should settle it formally. Settle
Yeah,
certain
formally.
issues formally.
So, attorney, how long does it take?
In the part of the lawyer drafting the complaint affidavit, it doesn't take that long. Because it actually maybe 1 week, maybe 2 weeks, maybe 1 month. It depends on the case.
Okay, depends on the case. But if they're just here for a short vacation, I don't think it'll suffice. Unless you're actually determined and then you really wanted to pursue this case, they have to stay here longer than a month. All right, attorney, let's talk about some hypothetical scenarios because this is more applicable for my subscribers out there. Most of them are, they're proud that they bought land for their fiancés, their girlfriend, and then because we're going to get married and, the promise to be together. Although I already told them beware of buying land here in the Philippines, and let's say it turns out that the Filipina can't marry this guy because she's already married, and there's a Filipino or the husband and a boyfriend, and and
lot
decide.
of personalities involved.
Yeah, a lot of personalities, a lot of guys under her bed. So let's say, because he was thinking that they're gonna be together. Obviously, that's deceit, right? And then he's been sending this money to her because he's promised a future together. Obviously, a foreigner can't own land here in the Philippines. So what happens then, attorney?
So there's a constitutional prohibition from foreigners from owning land here in the Philippines. And the reality, or what happens here is in the Philippines, is the foreigner actually buys the land using his or her funds, but places it in the name, or registers it in the name of the Filipino.
Yeah, because they trust the Filipino.
They trust in the Filipino.
Yeah,
diba?
because she's different. I can feel it.
If our issue is about recovering the money spent by the foreigner, if ever things turn sour, it would be difficult. And if the foreigner wants to recover the amounts he or she spent, files a case in court, we have a legal principle that he who comes to court must come to court with clean hands.
Okay.
And the agreement in itself is contrary to our constitution. So I think you're not coming to court with clean hands.
Right.
So what I'm saying is, it would be difficult if you want to recover your money, having that agreement.
Having that, even though they drafted an agreement, signed
Yes.
and notarized that, hey, this money is from my fiance, just buying land under my name. What if it says in the agreement, if everything turns south, I'll give his money back, even though they have that agreement?
Yes, because one thing, the Constitution is our supreme law. It's the foundation of all other laws. That no law must run contrary, no law or agreement must run contrary to the Constitution.
Oh, okay.
And because that's an indirect circumvention of the Constitution, and you must come to court with clean hands, with
Right.
good intentions, with no illegalities involved.
But that was a good intention, buying land for the Filipina to be his wife.
It's out of love that the foreigner names it in the name of the Filipina. But, well, my advice is, if you really have that transaction, then you put it in the name, or you register it in the name of someone you really trust.
Yeah, but apparently they really, really, really trust this person, and it turns out she's not trustworthy.
It's very difficult to trust people nowadays,
Oh,
in
yes.
general.
Yes, okay, so land, you're screwed. So what if the foreigner is just sending $300 a month, and obviously it's not really worth it? Suing someone for $300 a month. So what about if the foreigner sent money for opening up a business? Let's say $10,000 was sent to this person, to this Filipina, to open up a business, and under false pretenses, and she has the money. So can he sue the Filipina?
There's money involved.
Yeah.
If there's deceit, you may file for a criminal case.
Okay. So as if the Filipina has assets, he can go after the assets.
And if you don't want to involve yourself with the hassle and the torments of criminal prosecution, then you may file for a civil case. Just recently, we have the small claims here in the Philippines. And the amount in small claims is actually 1 million. So if the money involved does not exceed 1 million, then you may file for small claims. In small claims, there's no lawyer involved.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you file it before the municipal trial court. There's no lawyer involved. You just prepare a statement of verified claims.
Okay.
So it would be more faster compared to the ordinary procedure.
Okay, under 1 million pesos.
Yes.
Okay. So no lawyers involved. It's not gonna be
It's more
tedious.
faster.
It's faster. Okay. So what about if the Filipina has no assets?
If there's no assets, then she can't pay.
She can't pay.
So the best recourse would be to file the criminal case. If she really doesn't have assets, she just doesn't have money, then what can we do? What can we run after?
Right. Vengeance.
Vengeance.
Yeah, vengeance.
So what happens is the accused, because he or she is scared to go to prison.
Right. Maybe they can come up with something
Yeah.
out of
So they
fear.
go talk it out with the private complainant.
Right.
And if the private complainant says, I'm okay with it, let's settle, no more criminal case, then it
Okay.
will be less hassle.
Right. Well, since it's, the Philippines is all about families, then call up all your family, the members of the clan. Chip in. All right, attorney, so let's move on. Let's talk about the age of consent here in the Philippines. A lot of my viewers, when I talked about this, a lot of confusion because before it was 12 and recently it was all
Raised to 16 right now.
Yeah, it was raised
Under
to 16. Okay, so now let me just clarify. When you guys think of age of consent, it's not the same thing in the West. It's not the age that you're allowed to have a sexual relationship with a person. Here in the Philippines, attorney, when we talk about age of consent, is to classify the victim of what type of
crime.
Crime.
Certain crimes.
Yeah.
Well, to be safe, if you really want to engage in those types of activities,
Yeah.
you better do it with a person of legal age, 18.
18.
To be safe.
Yes, 18.
So that there's no problem. There's no thinking of what crime will I be liable of. So the rule of thumb is do those activities with a person of legal age.
Yes, of legal age. Okay, what if a Filipina says she's 18 years old? Obviously, maybe some people would ask, okay, can you show me your ID? Before anything happens, like behind the curtains. For instance, there's this foreigner. It's his first time here in the Philippines, and
Having fun, enjoying.
Yeah, having fun and enjoying, and then he's, hey, can I see your ID, please? Oh, okay, you're 18 years old. So, what if that person uses a fake ID? Is he liable?
So the belief of the foreigner is that
She's 18.
she's 18. So intention comes into play. So if the accused had the belief that the person or the girl that he is with is not a minor because there was an ID presented, then such intention or such belief may be our defense if there are possible criminal prosecutions against him.
Okay. But what if the fake ID somehow disappears and then it was just a ruse just to scam a foreigner? And then, like she knows that she's not 18 and then she's trying to hassle the foreigner so that, scam him for some money.
To gain some money.
Yeah, to gain some money. So obviously the foreigner is scared and he doesn't want to go, he doesn't want to end up in a jail here in the Philippines. So they're
Don't
scared.
give in. Go to a lawyer. Because
Right.
especially if there's blackmail involved and that's a minor, the minor already has the upper hand. Because who would people believe? A young, innocent minor?
Right.
Or someone who's of age, let's say 30 years older than the minor.
Right.
So if ever there's blackmail involved or there's deceit involved and the subject is a minor, go to a lawyer right away.
Okay. And they can save all, like text messages if you
Yes.
don't pay up. I know we Filipinos, we Asians, sometimes we don't look our age.
Yeah. We look young.
Yeah, younger. So I know it's not that romantic if you're asking your date for an ID.
Hey, can I have your ID to know
Are you
your
old?
age?
Are you old enough to drink?
It's also for your safety and security. Because if, for example, the blackmail thing, she threatens you with filing a criminal case. And if there's a criminal case, at least you have that picture of the ID. So you have that evidence. So you have that defense. There's proof.
First and foremost, ID, please. Papers, please. Okay. What should you do if you move in with a Filipina and then you found out later that she's still legally married? So I know it's a sticky situation because there's no divorce here. Is he liable, criminally liable for living with a married woman?
So adultery, one of the element there is that you're with a woman who is married and you know that she's married. So knowledge of that she's married is important.
Ah, okay.
So if you didn't know that she's married, then you won't be liable. But what happens after is important. Because if you continue going out with her, engaging in certain private activities with her, then you'll be held
Carnal
liable.
activity.
Carnal knowledge with her.
Oh yeah.
So if you from the point that you knew she was married, stop seeing her. Stop going out with her.
What if the woman says that the estranged husband hasn't been in her life for 10, 15 years? Doesn't matter, right?
Doesn't matter, to be safe. So, would you want to argue it out in court? Or would you want that there's no problem at all?
True. So,
it's better not to have any problem. So, if you learn of the fact that she's married, whatever the circumstance, to be safe, get away from her.
Right. Well, coming from a man, from a Filipino man, because I don't understand. I mean, I'm not generalizing. I'm not saying that all, because some of them might be, there's a happy ending for them. But to be safe, there's plenty of single women here. But
yes,
I know you don't choose who you love.
Unless you get an annulment or a nullity of marriage, then the marriage still subsists.
Okay, so even though they have this paper that they signed
together, they agreed that
I'm
we're
not going
separated.
Yeah.
Just don't cross that line.
Don't cross that line, guys.
Yeah.
It's not worth it.
It's not worth it.
The only defense of the foreigner right now, living with a married woman, is his knowledge.
Yes,
knowledge of not knowing this woman is actually married. So, guys, before you date anyone, please make sure that she's not married, and then let her text that I am not married, screenshot that.
We're already living in the modern age,
right?
Or in the modern era where we have a lot of gadgets.
Mm-hmm.
We have a lot of gadgets to screenshot certain conversations. So, do all that you can to prevent any problems in the future.
See, it's a lot of hassle now just to date a woman, let alone marrying a woman. Ask for a SENUMAR, a certificate of no marriage. So, speaking of which, attorney, can anyone fake a SENUMAR?
Not everyone can fake a SENUMAR. Our PSA, or the Philippine Statistics Authority, they use a certain type of paper and a certain type of printer. And there's also that seal of the PSA. There's signatures involved in the document. So it would be difficult to falsify a SENUMAR.
Oh, and also, I know there are a lot of people who are very good at photoshopping nowadays. The best thing to make sure that it's not false is to ask for the receipt as well. Papers, please, your ID, your SENUMAR. Yeah, it's like a job interview to have a boyfriend nowadays.
Well, I think it's required, because if you really want to live with a person or be with her, then you also need to know her.
Exactly. So what if, she's got some outstanding warrants?
Yeah. And if she doesn't consent to giving those documents, it shows the maturity. That's a non-issue. If someone asks you that, it's not really a big deal. You have to have that sense of security.
Yes. And if you're so offended because you just have to, to prove that, like, lady, there's plenty of Filipinos in the Philippines. Like, every day someone is turning 18 years old, so...
And for that foreigner, then that Filipina isn't for you. She says that, why are you asking for my ID? Why are you asking for my SENUMAR? Then that speaks about her. That speaks about her character, about her maturity.
Yeah, that sounds like a Karen. Can I talk to your manager? Well, attorney, thank you so much for the valuable information on how to catch the bad guys, and how to sue a scammer, and how to protect themselves, especially if this is their first time visiting the Philippines. So, where is Diocos Law Firm?
So, Diocos Law Office is located at San Jose Extension, Dumaguete City, Negros Oriental.
I can also leave their contact info in the description box of this video. So anyway, thank you so much, attorney, and I hope we can see you again sometime.
Yes, it's been my pleasure to appear here in your vlog.
Well, have a nice day, and bye for now! Sir, do you have any idea how fast you were speeding? Speeding through my video? Skipping all the ads? And not paying attention to a word I said? I'm gonna let you go with a warning this time. A warning that you better give a thumbs up on this video and subscribe to my channel. Got it?
I don't even want to watch your stupid videos.
Alright, out of the car. I think this one needs a full cavity search. The hard way. And for the rest of you good citizens, may I suggest watching my other videos too. Just remember, I can have you in handcuffs anytime I want.